I get buckets. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Get Buckets podcast. It's me, James, and...
It's me, James. Oh, no.
Nailed it. Paul.
It's me, Paul, actually.
You failed at your name.
I've not failed at my name. I did that for comedic purposes, James.
You're hilarious. Okay, welcome back to the Get Buckets podcast. We are back once again. Not the Renegade Masters, just James and Paul. Yes, we're not that cool. We are here to talk NBA and have a bit of fun along the way.
NBA too. And drink drinks, James.
We are here to drink drinks. What drink have you got for me? I haven't finished my tea.
Oh, well, have something a bit colder. It's a cold brew coffee, oat milk, and it's got caramel in there as well. It's caramel oat.
I'm going to have to read the bottle because this is very cool. It's a plant-based drink, 750 millilitres, but we didn't finish it. It's a Califia. Wiz Khalifa?
Sure.
It's Wiz Khalifa's personal...
That's the one.
Coffee drink from Wiz Khalifa Farms. It's not, it's Califia Farms. Cold brew coffee with oats, caramel oat. So essentially this is a caramel oat milk latte cold.
Yes, it's delicious and it was on offer in the supermarket.
Which is the budget for this podcast. Is whatever is on offer in the supermarket on the way over.
Cheers before we...
Here's to you.
Here's to you.
Not a bad clink.
Now, James.
Yes, Paul. Yes, James.
How the devil are you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. I feel kind of ready for some basketball news.
Basketball news?
Did you hear the news?
Politics?
No, the basketball news.
Basketball news.
Paul, it's been about a week, maybe a little more since we spoke.
A little more, yeah. And
things are going on.
Yeah, well, it's like a week till the playoffs, James. There's like 3 to 4 games left, depending on what team you're talking about.
Well, some teams, their season ain't nearly over. But some teams, it is, and we're going to get into it. I would like to start with the teams that have clinched their playoff berths, Paul. They are officially in. Even if they just lose from now on, they're in the playoffs.
They've achieved playoffs.
They have, well done, which, let's face it, some teams would beg for that. And there is some big stories here. There's some big stories here. So we'll start over in the Western Conference, where, shockingly, the Denver Nuggets have secured a playoff spot.
Is that shocking?
No, that's sarcasm, Paul.
Because last year knocked out the first round, but now their guys are back.
Yeah.
They are, although we're not looking like a very strong number. No offense, Denver, we're not looking a super strong number 1 seed.
If they're going to do it, they've got to outscore the other team. They've just got to be red hot. Another team to secure a playoff berth in the West is the Memphis Grizzlies. Boo!
Hey, James, they've turned it around a little bit.
Have they?
A little bit. I mean, Dylan Brooks is still
I was about to say, what about Dylan Brooks?
Yeah, he's still a dickhead, but...
It's a family show, Paul.
He's...
a dickhead, yeah, you're absolutely right. Good point, well made. Yeah, but Memphis are in there. Is Morant back now?
He is back, yeah, and he's playing well.
Has he shot anyone on the court?
No.
Have you ever seen the movie Hook? Have you seen it?
I don't think I have.
Robin Williams. It's supposed to be a sequel to Peter Pan.
I've not seen it for maybe a while ago.
Well, let me remind you of the scene that brought this to mind.
Okay.
There is a scene where Robin Hood?
Let me
try
it's a crossover.
It's a crossover. It's a multiverse theory. Where Peter Pan's son Jack has been kidnapped by Captain Hook.
Jack Sparrow. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It's multiverse, and he's obsessed with baseball. This boy. Okay. So he teaches the pirates. I know, terrible sport for terrible people. Come at me, Twitter. He's obsessed with baseball, and while the pirates have kidnapped him, they want to win him over. So he teaches them to play baseball, and they play baseball, right? And they all want Jack to win, and Jack's trying to play, and he's, I think, pitching. And one of the pirates who's playing is trying to steal third base, and as he's trying to steal it, someone in the crowd just stands up, one of the pirates, and shoots him. I'm just wondering if this was an inspiration for Ja Morant in the way he plays his sports.
Maybe he saw it as a kid and was like, genius.
It's brilliant because he literally goes, he's stealing third. Boom. So yeah, Ja Morant baseball. Coming to a Sega Genesis near you.
Hey, how about them Kings?
When is the last time they made the playoffs?
I see that meme I sent you about the last time the Kings made the playoffs.
Oh.
And everyone was like...
Loads of them weren't born yet.
Weren't even born yet. It wasn't
Was it?
Noughties?
Was it the team with what's your man, power forward, brilliant in it? They had they had Jay Will for a while, and then they had Mike Bibby. and they had
Grant Hill? No.
No, not Grant Hill. Oh, I could picture his face. Legendary power forward. Help me.
I have to Google it, James. This is ridiculous.
I swear, 2 episodes running, my brain has let me down.
The thing is, it's the Kings, isn't it? So no one really knows much about the Kings.
Harsh. No, he's a legendary 4. I could picture his face. Help me out, Paul.
Webber. Is it Webber?
Chris Webber.
I didn't need Google. I got it in the head.
Thank you. Yeah. Was it that team? Has it been that long that we're talking about C. Webb's team?
05-06. Last time they made the... we lost the first round to the Spurs.
Oh. Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn.
but hey, the Kings.
Damn.
And do you know what? That'll make it interesting if they come across Golden State, because obviously that's a big fight.
And they're close, Sacramento.
Yes,
and
that is a local derby. Do they have derbies in the NBA? Do they have
maybe
the word
LA.
derby?
LA's the exact same building, isn't it? Clippers, Lakers, the same building. Must be weird. Just change the colours.
That's odd though, because do you really have home and away court then?
No,
it's
I
not.
guess not.
It's so local that it's no longer a rivalry. You're just sharing a court. We share courts with other teams.
They just changed the banners from lots for Lakers and none for Clippers.
Oof. I mean, I was going to play the "That's Hot" jingle, but it's cold.
It's shots fired. I think you'll find
it is shots fired. We haven't used the shots fired this season.
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired!
It
Also
is shots
about
fired.
Ja.
Oh no, we have a jingle that's specific to Ja. Oh, Ja Morant, you're never going to live this one down. But yes, the Grizzlies are in, the Kings are in the West, as of the most recent news we read and Googled 5 minutes ago.
I did it just before I finished work.
Nailed it. And that, as far as I know, they're all the ones who've confirmed their spots in the West. In the East, we have more.
The East is more solid.
Yes. Do you want to run this down, or should I?
Well, top dogs with the Bucks.
My pick to win it.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I have no pick right now. Bucks probably, they might be my pick because they've been there before.
But we'll get into that in detail at a later date, I'm sure.
Boston, number 2, 2 games back. Probably won't catch him.
Who had a real bad run for a little while, and they're looking good again. Which, obviously, I hate, but aside from my Nick love, fair play.
Then you got Philly, who are 5 games back. Now, they started super cold, and they've really brought it up, which means they could be quite a scary team.
Yeah, I did read some rumours about Harden having some great stats, quietly playing great.
He's been playing really good, He's been really good. Happy to be number 2 guy to Embiid, which is nice,
Yeah, I mean, we called it. We said this was the partnership everyone that was needed.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
People running the Sixers, they'd be listening.
They'd be listening to get buckets.
Yeah, pay us in lilt.
Oh, callback.
The guys are callback to the OG season where we wanted sponsorship from Sweps.
Number 4, you got Cleveland, which who are a good team. I feel like not quite enough, but they are good. They might annoy one of the better teams, I think. Because they are slightly below the top 3.
I mean, it's looking very likely that the first round will be it'll be them that we meet.
Yeah, because Knicks are in 5th, and which is amazing for James, but it's going to be hard to get past the Cavs, I think.
It is, and it's really gutting because of the whole thing that happened with Donovan Mitchell. So if he knocks us out of the playoffs, that's the story. If we knock him out of the playoffs, that's the story. So, going to be an interesting one.
I think I could go to game 6 or 7. Might go 7.
I think it's going to be a really entertaining series. I think it's going to be a really entertaining series. Yeah. And those are the 5 in the East, though.
They are secure.
They are secure. They're in.
Do you want to go to the East play-in?
The play-in.
I've skipped the West for now because West is a mess.
We'll start with the East, but I'll say long-time listeners, anyone who listened last week will know that it is the play-in chaos. The PLAYOS. So we're here discussing the PLAYOS in the East. Talk to me, Paul.
So, you got Brooklyn in 6. Now, they're likely going to keep that 6th position. They're 2 games ahead of the Heat. There's only 3 or 4 games left, so they've probably got that. But then you got Heat, Atlanta, Toronto, and Chicago pretty much secured in those 4 spots. Because Washington's done. Then they
have Atlanta gone on a run?
They have been
Last time we talked, weren't they the 12th seed?
Oh, yes, but it's because it's so tight.
Yeah.
Atlanta's been some record ever. They've been around 500 for something like 30 games. They win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. So
and yet being around 500, they went from 12 seed to 8.
Well, maybe not 12, but they were out of it and back in it again.
Wow, that's tight.
Yeah, because Chicago weren't that great, and they've played a bit better recently. They beat the Grizzlies last night or the night before,
which everybody loves because now the pantomime villain is the Grizzlies. Yes. It was the Suns, and I'm sure it will be again.
But I reckon Brooklyn's going to make it in. It's going to be Heat, Atlanta, Raptors, and the Bulls. Now, James, what do you think? The Heat, probably the best team, but struggle to score.
They're not playing great, but the Heat are just so established in the way they play, and their coach has been there forever, and they're culturally sound. That if they go for a bad run, they don't implode. If they do really well, they don't go crazy. They're very stable, so I think they'll make it. As much as I don't want them to, I think they will.
So Heat are 7th, Atlanta are 8th. It means they'll be playing the first playing game. Now Heat have the best defense, the worst offense. Atlanta have the best offense, the worst defense. So what's that going to mean? No scoring or all scoring?
If you were coaching the Heat, how would you tell them to play against the Hawks?
Great bloody question. I've not watched any Hawks games this season, not going to lie. But they've got 2 point guards, right?
Yeah. I've only watched them a little, and obviously I watched them detail when they knocked the Knicks out of their last playoff run. Yeah. But we talked about this recently, that there's a bit of a mismatch between the 2 point guards and how they play. And this is a controversial hot take. But if I was the coach of the Heat, I would let Trae Young shoot them out of the series.
Interesting.
Is that a hot take?
That is a hot take.
It's pretty hot.
Ooh, that's hot.
You let him shoot like a madman.
Yeah.
And guard everyone else intensely and just let him...
Yeah, because what he loves to do is really high pick and roll. And when he comes around that screen, if you battle round, he almost stops in place. You end up bundling into him and he'll shoot. From crazy deep, it's very clever. But usually that isn't the winning play. It gets daggers like that hurt if it's close. But it's actually the way he breaks down the defense that opens everything else up. If you don't let him break down the defense and let him instead take lots of deep shots, is that potentially a winning strategy?
It could be. And I do think the Hawks match up badly with the Heat, because the Heat got Butler, who's a fantastic on-board defender, and you got Bam, a centre who can move his feet. He can switch and pick and roll, and it's not a disaster.
Underdog for Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, he'll be top 3 for sure.
Yep.
As he has been a few times, I think.
Yep.
But that's a tough one, I think. But I think Heat probably get it. I think you got Toronto and Chicago. Toronto, I think, are the better team. I'm a Bulls fan, but
I mean,
Toronto.
Neither of those teams are perfectly built as they are now.
No.
I think Toronto wins that. I think Chicago are close to imploding.
Oh yeah,
despite
teetering on the edge.
Yeah, despite having lots of talent, they're not constructed very well.
No.
I can't really see how they work as a team.
Yeah, it sort of got Levine a bit like almost that chance, and had a great player and didn't know what to do with it. And they managed to get DeRozan, kind of an aging star who somehow was still quite good, almost by luck.
But not really a team ball player. Not to detriment, great player, and I don't think he's selfish or anything, but you give him it in his spot, he's going to score it in the mid-range. Sort of like Melo was at times. What does that team need? It needs someone who can get the ball to each of the players in their spots consistently. You need a good point guard.
You need Alonzo Ball, who's not injured.
Potentially Alonzo Ball,
but he's injured.
Yeah.
So.
An old man Jason Kidd.
Oh,
who might be available. We'll talk about that later.
Does that mean it'd be Hawks versus Toronto for that final spot? And I honestly will not bet in either way. I have no idea. On that.
Gun to your head, who wins?
Toronto.
I thought the same.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Toronto, I think.
So we've got some predictions there. So we're saying that we'll end up with, after the Knicks, it'll be Brooklyn, Miami, Toronto.
Yeah.
Which actually has Atlanta, who are in the 8th spot, dropping out, and Toronto are currently in the 9th spot, taking it.
No, yeah.
Interesting. Is there anyone outside of those playing spots who have a chance of battling their way in?
No, it's done.
Then can we go on a slight tangent and talk about Bradley Beal's career?
Oh, that is a tangent, because...
How old is he now? Because it feels like he's been waiting for a long time.
Why has that been traded? I don't know. Why has that been traded?
He's not been traded.
Get him to the Mavs. They'll take anyone nowadays.
Get him traded so we can play the "You Traded" jingle. That's what it's really about. The fans know that's the best jingle.
Oh, I've lost internet, James.
No internet for you. Yeah, I'm interested to see how old he is, because they've tried to retool quite a lot. Okay, he's 20. Okay, I thought he'd passed 30.
He's been in the league
29.
seemingly for a very long time.
So he has still got a couple of years left of potentially his peak. But they don't look constructed to do much with it.
No, he needs to be traded. They should trade him. They should get rid of him. Get him to some borderline team and he's someone, Let's have his contract. See what he's got contract-wise. He signed a 5-year big old contract.
Which team needs a scorer?
The
Jazz?
The Heat. Who said he can't score?
Who would they give for him, though? See, the Jazz have got lots to give, haven't they?
That's it. Okay, see, lots of picks.
True, but he's not going to do much there. Well, maybe
they're in the plane, which we'll discuss.
They're very young and a lot of talent. SGA and Bradley Beal together. Does that work?
Get him to a Knicks.
No, I mean I like him a lot, and he's an absolute stud of a player. But we currently start our 2 guard as more of a catch and shoot and play off everyone else, even though we have Emmanuel Quickly on the bench. Just because otherwise your starting lineup is like RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, Emmanuel Quickly. There's only one ball. It doesn't quite work. So, and for similar reasons, I don't think Bradley Beal would fit amongst that. He can't play off ball enough.
How about this one? Hawks got 2 point guards. Trade one of those point guards for Beal.
Which one? Is Trae Young and Bradley Beal a better team than Dejounte Murray and Bradley Beal?
I think they would be hard to get rid of Trae Young.
Because they've made him the face.
He's a franchise guy.
But a backcourt of Murray and Beal are quite better. Big and a bit longer.
Because he can score and defend while Young kind of just scores.
Yeah.
So
this is controversial, isn't
it?
Let me line it up, Paul.
Say
it, Paul. You know you want to.
Trade him.
Oh, I thought you were gonna. I've got loads of jiggles.
Ooh, that's hot.
You traded Pat Young Banks.
Who's the?
That wasn't ready.
You weren't ready for that, were you?
No, I thought you were just going with the hot take.
So hot.
You were straight into trades.
Who's the big guy on the Hawks getting rid of for ages? Collins? Not Zach. No.
Oh yeah, they've paid him a lot of money as well.
I can't remember his name, but you could trade.
It is Collins, I think, the surname. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You trade him and Young to the Wizards for Beal and Kuzma.
Why you got to punish him with Kuzma? That feels unfair.
Some more scoring,
Kuz has the potential to be great, but man, he's streaky.
Oh yeah,
he's so streaky.
Yeah.
Reminds me of me.
Well,
that's not a good thing.
He can score a little bit.
One moment.
Ooh, that's hot.
A hot take against me.
Yeah.
But as we established earlier in the episode, we're both James, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We went on a big old tangent there.
Yeah.
But that's because we were looking at who was just outside the play-ins, and we established that Washington was there.
And they've been like that for a few years now.
Would Washington be better letting Beal move on, bringing in some younger pieces and building around KP and giving KP a chance again to be the main guy? Because I haven't followed it, and I'm biased against him, but I have heard he's had a great season.
He has been much better, but I do think they should trade everything away, collapse a bit, rather than being a sort of like this borderline playoff team year after year.
Well, the Knicks did it for 12 years. You're not bad enough to draft. You're not good enough to win.
Exactly. So they need to do something. And Beal is an amazing player, but he's holding him back in a weird way because he's not good enough to get him any further, and he's too good to let him drop. So
reminds me of Melo at the Knicks in the later years. There was nothing around him, and he kept us 11th.
It's also similar a little bit to the Bulls. Got some stars, but not enough stars, and it's sort of like this is a weird sort of zone.
It's funny how the NBA's changed, because if you look at the early 2000s, just having one star, ISO ball, was enough for you to be a made team to a certain extent. Now, if you can't play team ball, it don't matter.
Yeah.
That one guy will get his numbers and you will lose.
Yeah.
And that shows an evolution of the league.
Yeah. Would you like to go to the West?
We're going to the West for the West PLAYOS.
Oh my goodness. So let me run it down. You got 4th to 12th still in the running, which is Phoenix, Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, Pelicans, Timberwolves, Thunder, Dallas, and the Utah Jazz.
The Phoenix haven't secured a spot.
Phoenix
Suns.
2.5 games up on Clippers. They're almost secured it, and they've got an easy record. They have got, let me tell you, James, They got the Spurs tonight, Tuesday. And then we've got Nuggets, which might have given up a little bit at that point. I'm trying to win.
When they play garbage minutes. The whole game is garbage minutes.
Yeah, because they might secure the first
B team.
spot. So, and then you got Lakers and Clippers, so that could be a tough one. But Spurs up first, and I think they're going to win that, and that might be it for the Phoenix. But there's still plenty of teams there fighting it out, James. If you look at Clippers, are only a half game out of the play-in. And
the Lakers are heating up.
The Lakers have turned it around, man. They've turned it around.
Yeah, I mean, I think Russell Westbrook leaving worked for everyone involved.
Yeah, because Clippers seem quite good with him as well.
Yeah, I think he's in the right environment there. There was a lot of pressure on him at the Lakers to be something he wasn't.
Yeah,
it didn't work. But the Lakers are doing well, and I'd like to see LeBron get another playoff run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's still got some legs under him.
Yeah. I mean, Golden State 6th.
Well, Wiggins, he's missed.
Is he back now, or he's due back soon?
He's back
I read
tonight.
this.
OKC. He missed 21 games after a medical issue with his family, somebody with his father.
Well,
so
shout out to him. I hope the family's okay. I hope he's okay. No jokes to be made about that.
And Clay missed a bit of time. Curry missed a bit of time. They were banged up, but they're in, and I think they might secure it. But Lakers. Also, you don't want to be fifth because then you're facing Durant, Phoenix in fourth, which are probably better than a fourth seed.
Interesting.
Because they were...
Interesting.
Booker was injured for a bit, and then Durant's only just come there and he was injured, so they are probably more like a top 2 seed, but they're actually in fourth. So you want to be sixth, really.
It's dangerous. Is there going to be the tank for avoiding Phoenix?
But it's so tight, if you lose 2 games, then you're in seventh.
This is it. We're going to keep a very close eye on this podcast on the playoffs in the West.
Yeah. Well, tonight, I say it's Tuesday, there are a lot of games. You've got to run it down for you. You got Spurs versus Suns. You've got Warriors Thunder, big game. You got Utah Lakers, Pelicans Kings, Timberwolves Brooklyn, and Mavs Kings tomorrow and Wednesday. Christ, Jay. And then there's a lot of interplay. There's a lot of games going on. I don't know what's going to happen, James.
It's exciting times in the world of the NBA.
Lakers got a tough schedule. Look at the Lakers' schedule there. You got Utah, Clippers, Suns, and Utah again. That's their final 4. That's a tough final 4.
That's a tough run.
Every one of those teams are fighting for something.
Mm-hmm. Interesting time to watch the West.
Oh yeah.
Nice time to be a Knicks fan in the East.
Yeah.
We chilling. We chilling. You carry on, West playoffs.
Meanwhile, the Mavs have fallen off. They've won 3 out of the last 10, I think. That's it.
Well, Paul, do you want to talk about this now and get this off your chest, or do you want to save it for later?
Save it, James.
I
can't even.
Okay, then we'll move on. Yes, you're right. The Mavs not doing well. Carry on.
I can't even.
All right, mate. It's okay. I'm giving him a welcoming tap on the shoulder to check he's okay. Carry on,
James. I want to ask you who's going to make in the playoffs. Out of those teams, quick rundown. Phoenix, they're in. Let's say Phoenix are in. 100%.
Right, so it's...
They're going fourth.
From the Clippers at 5th to... Dallas
Utah.
still in the running, and so are Utah.
Utah still
oh, you see, it's head versus heart, because I want Utah to make it.
Too.
Even though Utah as a district is a very strange place. And there's some very odd things to be said about that, which I'm not going to. I'm just going to hint at them. I really want Markkanen to get what he deserves after a great breakout season.
Should I tell you what I think it's going to be?
Yeah, because I'm torn.
I think Phoenix is going to stay fourth.
Okay.
I think Clippers and Golden State are going to make it in 5th and 6th. Not
Fair.
sure which order. Lakers, I think because Lakers are the toughest Final Four, they might not break in out of the play-in. But I do think it's going to be Lakers, Pelicans, and then it's going to be Jazz and Timberwolves in the final 2 spot.
You think the Jazz are going to go on a little bit of a run and jump in?
Yeah, they're a few games back, but I want Utah, and I'm going to believe. And I think OKC might just drop out, and Dallas are going to drop fucking way out.
Okay, that's interesting because I have a theory. And my theory is that if the Lakers don't make it straight in and they end up in the play-in, that they won't make the playoffs.
Interesting. No,
And I have a thought pattern to back it up.
Please tell me your incorrect thought pattern.
Oh, Paul.
Ooh, shots fired!
Shots fired!
He's like preemptive shots. Where are you, Ja Morant?
Oh, I'm his friend.
Oh yeah, you're his mate who was in the back of the car.
Yeah.
With the laser pen. It was only a laser pen, right? I think that they're on a run and they're doing really well, and if they keep going, then they sneak into, say, the 6th spot, they make it. Perfectly fine. I think they are brittle because they had such a bad run that there's a lack of belief if they're out of form or if anything goes slightly wrong. And in a play-in scenario where it's only one game, someone goes slightly wrong, one team goes on a run, I can see it imploding.
It's a great point, but
wrong.
out of all those teams, they've got the guy who's been there and done it. Well, AD as well, because he went to championship, but LeBron's done it so many times. I think compared to Pelicans, who haven't really been there and done it at all, no offense Pelicans, but compared to LeBron, no one's done what LeBron's done.
You think he's still capable of dragging a team through?
Yeah, I think if Lakers are healthy, they got enough depth, and LeBron can just finish the game and he can raise his level because he knows playoffs.
Do you know what? I hope you're right, because he deserves another run. He doesn't deserve to whimper out like this. It's different if a player is clearly at the end and they're done. But when a player like LeBron is showing he's not quite done, despite the fact he should be, it's more the construction around him that's let him down. That's terrible. You don't want to see him waste what's left when it could have been something just because what's around him wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. So I hope you're right. But carry on. That was my theory.
Now, I was kind of down on the Pelicans because Zion went out and Ingram looked a bit rusty, but he's actually turned it around, and CJ is playing really well.
And let's face it, they basically play without Zion.
Yeah, he played the first third of the season, and they were like top 3 team at that point, and they dropped like a stone.
Is that a purposeful weight joke?
It wasn't, but you can take it as such.
It's pretty good. I'm sure I was watching something the other day where someone read a stat that Zion had only played as many as 1 full season's worth of games in 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, he averaged 34 a season or something.
That's
stupid.
bad.
Yeah,
we used to worry about Porzingis before he went down with his big injury. There was a question of whether he was anemic and a load of other stuff, because as he got through his first few seasons, towards the end he always kind of bailed out and we were like, well, is he a bit brittle? If he were playing 30 games a season, the New York media would have tore him apart.
Oof, yeah.
It would have been real bad. So I don't think necessarily that the loss of Zion affects how we see that team, because they mostly play without him.
Yes, true, but I think so. If a 7th, 8th end up being Lakers and Pelicans, I could see Lakers winning that. I know you disagree, but I'm going to say Lakers win that game, and they go through in 7th position. And then you're going to have, in my theory, Jazz versus Timberwolves. And I would love Jazz to win, so I'm going to say they're going to win. And then it'll be Pelicans and Jazz. And I'm going to stick with my heart and say Jazz will beat the Pelicans and make it in the 8th spot. But
so you end up with the Lakers and the Pelicans making it in?
Lakers and the Jazz making it in. The Jazz
Lakers and the Jazz, sorry, yes.
But, I mean, that's a tall order, I know. But I'm gonna go with the Jazz. Come on, Jazz.
No love for the young OKC team in 10th?
You know what it is? I think because OKC have got a good future, I'm kind of like, they'll be there.
You got time.
They got time. They'll get there.
Don't worry about it.
Jazz, this might be... They managed to trade everything away and still be quite good.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
They might not maintain that.
Well, they were really good when they were going under the radar, and then when people took notice, maybe people schemed for them a little more, but yeah, they've done very, very well. I find it really hard to predict this. You seem so certain, and I'm so not. I'm going to predict, controversially, that the Lakers jump over Golden State. And Golden State get pulled into the play-in. Mostly because if I don't do that, I am not going to be able to finish this discussion. If Lakers make it anywhere else, I'll be talking to you forever. So Golden State end up facing New Orleans, and they beat them with experience. Which means, do New Orleans get another chance because they're higher up? Do they then play the winner of the other two?
Yes,
they
7-8, the loser plays the winner.
Plays the winner of 9 and 10.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota beat OKC. I don't think that Utah managed to climb the way up. I hope they do, which means that we end up with Minnesota and Pelicans.
Got Twin Towers versus.
I think New Orleans go through because they're just a little more experienced at this point.
So you got Lakers and Pels.
No.
Sorry, Golden State.
Golden State.
Sorry,
and
Golden
Pels.
State and
And
Pels,
then,
which makes sense. I can see that.
and Golden State would then finish 7th and play Memphis.
Which is my
in
god.
the first round.
Which is the rivalry.
Which is
kind
what
of?
we want.
And
We
also-
want to see Memphis knocked out first round.
Exactly, because Warriors knocked out Memphis last year. So there's and Dylan Brooks and Draymond Green have been like going at it.
And John Morant was interviewed. I don't know if it was last season or something, but it blew up on social media and become famous. He was asked, "Who do you worry about as rivals in your pursuit of what is ultimately a championship?" And immediately John Morant went, "Celtics," right? And the interviewer went, "No one in the West." He went, "No, we good in the West."
Ooh.
I thought, ooh. Oh, that's brave.
He's shooting like verbal shots and actual shots.
Yeah, he's so
Interesting.
yeah. I would love to see that.
That'd be very cool. I'm very.
I think that'd be a violent match. You see Klay Thompson clothesline a guy.
Did you hear about Markkanen? He's
What's he
the
done?
first player in NBA history to record 200 threes and 100 dunks in a single season.
That's a cool stat.
I've got a little question based off
Cool
that
stat.
for you, James.
Oh, why don't we have any stats jingles? Cool stat.
Oh, we need a cool stat
We
jingle.
need a cool stat jingle for next time.
Next week. James, question for you. Based off that stat. Would you rather be the best dunker in the world or the best three-point shooter in the world?
The best three-point shooter in the world.
There you go.
By far.
Yeah.
It opens up far more.
That's true. Dunking's very cool, isn't it, though?
It's very cool if you want to show off to teenagers. Be the best dunker in the world. But I love the sport of basketball, and shooting at distance opens up every other portion of the game. There's a reason Steph Curry is hurting people still, and it's because the threat of that distant shot. You see him dancing on people because they're so worried you can just jack it up. They get too close, he dances past them, he goes and gets a stupid layup where he does a finger roll 20 feet into the sky and watches it swish it. For the beauty of the game and the spacing of the game, 3-point all
I think
day.
I would agree. I wish I could dunk, though, just a little bit.
I wish I could
would
do
just,
like
like,
boring
one-
flush.
Just
the one where you drive
Just
in,
the
you're wide
one.
open to two-hand flush.
Yeah, just a little dunk.
Yeah. I mean, you're close though.
I'm close, but not quite there.
You can get there. I can't. I'm old.
James, speaking of fantastic point guards,
Lord.
the
Where's this
Blazers no
Oh.
longer in contention.
Oh, it's very sad times, and you know what that means. We've got to talk about. We've got to talk about our boy Dame time.
Is it Dame time?
Do you mean Judy Dench watch? It's Judy Dench watch time, where we sit and we discuss the career and future decisions of one of our favourite players in the league, Damien Lillard, who now we lovingly refer to as Judy Dench.
Because what happened last week when I googled Dame, and up came Judi Dench.
We didn't consider that Dame also is a word. So now our ongoing bit is going to be anytime we discuss the ongoing things with Damien Lillard, it is Judy Dench watch. Trying not to laugh, but I feel I have to cough now.
Yeah. And so James, Portland have been like good, but not very good. Kind of similar to Beal, actually.
Yeah.
That whole situation, apart from Portland didn't make it to the conference finals a very long time ago now. But
Trade idea.
Ooh.
Beal for Dame, so they can both be stuck in the same situation again.
I mean, Christ, I feel bad for such great players, but just can't get a break.
And lovable great players too.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week that I thought that the Blazers should do right by him because I don't think he'll ever ask to go. But I really think it's time, but I'm not sure where to send him.
Do you know what's funny? Before the show, James Googled trying to find a quote. And we found one. I thought it's perfect. And it's actually 12 months ago. And we realised it's been like this for a few years now.
Yeah, we thought we were looking at recent news where he was interviewed about, are you finally going to ask for a trade or whatever? And he basically said, I have no interest in that. If they ask me to go, fine. And we thought, yeah, that sounds right. I mean, that's because that's been the scenario for years. It's been the same. I will go on a slight tangent here because recently there was a mock trade flying around Twitter regarding good old Dame / Judi Dench. And it's an odd one, but for some reason it got a lot of traction. So I'll share it with you and you can tell me what you think. So this, and it's described by the Twitter page at NBA Mock Trade, The description is, this trade almost makes too much sense. I disagree with that statement, but we'll come back to it in a minute. So, the Jazz trade Sexton, Olynyk, Gay, 2 unprotected firsts, 1 top 8 protected first, and a swap for Dame.
It's a lot for an old guard.
That is a lot to jump into contention. It is a lot, but I don't disagree with that statement at the end of jumping into contention, right? But they also have someone going to the Spurs and some changes going on at the Knicks. This is a 3-team trade. So, the Spurs get Anthony Simons. The Jazz get Damien Lillard. I think the Knicks get Rudy Gay, Yusuf Nurkic, and a load of picks and stuff that we don't care about. And the Knicks lose, I think it was Obi Toppin and
big man
and Mitchell Robinson. Can I just take a moment to say I hate this trade?
For the Knicks angle, that's a bad trade.
Yeah,
Mitchell is injured quite a lot, I guess.
I mean, yes, but not like loads and loads.
Okay.
Like, he misses a few games each season, and it is a bit consistent, but he doesn't miss a whole season, he doesn't miss a half. He'll miss a few weeks usually because he's a very, very long, athletic guy who can guard people on the perimeter, and he tries to, and as a result, sometimes he lands on a foot or something happens, but, you know, it's fine, that's how he plays. I do not want rid of Mitchell Robinson.
No, I think it'll be, from the Knicks angle, this is not a good trade. But
It's a terrible trade.
Jazz angle, pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blazers, you get a couple first-round picks.
Yep.
But you know what the thing about picks are? When you trade a good player and then a good team, those picks aren't very good anymore.
Yeah.
Because now they're high picks. Which
And you have to take into account the protections.
Yeah,
because
they're unprotected, the first two.
Yeah, but this exact scenario is now happening for the Knicks. We have the rights to a protected pick for Dallas.
Okay.
So we're rooting for Dallas right now. Like, suck less. We need you to get to a certain spot, or we don't get your pick no more. So there's this very odd thing of where you have to predict whether that team will be good or not, and what that means down the line. So there's quite a lot going on there. I just seriously disagree with this original thing of this trade almost makes too much sense. No, it doesn't, because you clearly don't know anything about why the Knicks have been good this season. Come at me, NBA mock trades on Twitter.
Yeah. Are one of those trades, those picks, is it one of the Spurs? Is it a Spurs pick, one of them? That's what Spurs giving up.
That's a good question. What are the Spurs giving up? I will investigate this on Twitter.
Can't be much, because the point guard's not amazing.
People be sat here on, the mock trade machine or whatever, and they don't think about things.
Oh, yeah. Two second-round picks to the Knicks.
And it looks like they are not even Spurs'. They're via LA and via Toronto. So it's stuff they've gained in trade, so they're not even really giving much up. Sending us Rudy Gay and Yusuf Nurkic.
Nurkic is old, man. He's not what he was. Still decent.
He's a good player, but he's not better than Mitchell Robinson.
No.
Mitchell Robinson's one of the best centers in the league.
Trailblazers get a lot of guys there. And a lot of picks. Blazers do that, I think, because Dame's getting a bit old now. Time to move on.
Of course they do. They come out with... Look at this. In this trade, they come out with basically a starting 5. They get Colin Sexton, Mitchell Robinson, Kelly Olynyk, who's kind of a big, so I suppose there's a clash there.
Forward, he can be fine.
But you've got Obi Toppin, who's a power forward.
Okay.
And then you've got a small forward. I don't really know much about... Is it Malachi Branham? I don't watch much Spurs at the minute. This is good for everyone apart from the Knicks. Why would the Knicks do this? So yeah, a slight tangent there. That was made too much sense to some idiot.
What we're saying is, I think Dame's going to be traded. And by Dame, I of course mean...
Judi Dench.
Of course.
Do you mean Judi Dench?
Exactly.
Yeah. Weirdly, I don't think he will. Even though I think he should. I think he's not gonna, because I can't work out where he could go that will work for everyone.
It's because he'll demand so much in return. And then he's like, well, what's the point?
There's no point in him waiting around this long to finally get traded if he isn't going somewhere to actually give it a go.
Do you know what it's kind of like? Kyrie going to the Mavs.
Yeah.
Because they had to give up loads to get him, and they were quite good, and now they're not very good because they gave up too much to get him.
To be honest, Utah might be the place that makes most sense for him, because they probably have the most that they can give. Because they've gained a lot of stuff in recent trades. Yeah. I just don't think you try and get the Knicks to give up 2 of their key pieces to do it. So yeah, maybe there's an opportunity to do something with the Jazz there. That would make sense.
Did you hear about Durant?
No,
he was showing love to the OKC young boys.
That's nice.
Seeing how versatile they are, and he wished he played with them or plays like that in his time. Made me think, if the Suns don't do very well this year, is Durant going to go back to OKC?
Okay, before I get to that, can we just take a moment to assume that was shots fired at his old team?
Ooh, shots fired!
Shots fired!
That is a backhanded compliment. You know when someone goes like, "Oh, you're so great. I wish my girlfriend was like that." Do you know what I mean? You're like, that's just an insult to your girlfriend. You've dressed it up as a compliment to someone else, but you're just going at someone. He's going, your young team's so versatile and so great the way you move the ball or whatever. God, I wish the team I played with was like that. Yeah, so if you decode that, that's the team I played with did not pass the ball and move around and were not versatile.
Shots fired to Westbrook, innit?
Shots fired to
Harden.
Westbrook and Harden. Sorry, carry on.
Well, I'm just wondering, do you think he'll go to OKC if Suns don't do very well this year?
If he went back to OKC and took them to a title, that would give his name probably more credibility.
It'll be similar
Because he would be the star in that team.
That's true. Similar to like LeBron going back to
Yeah.
Cavs.
Yeah.
I don't know his contract, so maybe we could go there, or he have to be traded. I think. Did he sign a contract? I can't remember what he did.
I don't know if he's...
But if you could just like go there without having been traded, then great news for OKC.
I would love that actually, because I've said like I'd love to see KD where he's not the secondary star, because he's such a great scorer. But when we've seen him do it at championship level, it's because there's a load of gravity around him that's meant that all the attention could be paid on shutting him down. So we've never seen him win a title where the attention was really on him. Let's face it, if you're playing Golden State, you don't put all your attention on defending Kevin Durant.
That's true.
You don't.
Yeah. I do think Suns though aren't. They're a good team and not as good as the Golden State teams were.
No, they're not.
Because Chris Paul, man, he's good, but he's not what he was. He's not a Steph Curry now.
No.
Obviously Booker's fantastic, but
Also,
He's not as good-
He's also a douche.
he's a douche. He's not as good defender as Clay, and that's kind of comparisons of those two teams.
It will be interesting to see what Phoenix do in the playoffs this year, because on paper they should be very good.
Yeah.
But we haven't got a huge amount of games to judge whether they are very good since Durant's joined them. So it'll be interesting to see how they do.
Yeah.
But with all that said, Paul, is there anything else in the current news you'd like to discuss?
Just that. Look at those Knicks. Look at them go.
Look at them
boys.
Knicks.
Look at those Knicks.
Do you know what? Two weeks running, but I'm going to do it.
Say go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York!
Wow.
It is nice to be a Knicks fan right now.
I bet it is.
It is,
It's,
but
it's not as nice to be a Bulls and Mavs fan.
Mavs fan. This is very true. But you know what? Despite all of that, Paul, what should you do and our listeners do?
I reckon me and them should get some bloody buckets.
Let's get some buckets, and Paul should get some dunks.
Keep trying, baby.